In the summer of 2025, there was a heat wave in Norway while my family and I were visiting. When we took a day trip from Oslo to Lillehammer, we rode one of Norway's regional trains there without incident, but by the time we were heading back in the afternoon, there was a big problem on the train line and trains weren't running all the way to Oslo. More on that later. We had another train to catch early in the morning the following day, so we had to get back to Oslo that evening. I'm from the USA, where our trains often run late, especially our long-distance trains. I have personally experienced 2 separate 7-hour delays on the Amtrak Coast Starlight, and I was prepared for something similar after we learned there were issues on the train in Norway. But I experienced something radically different from any Amtrak delay. Stick around if you want to find out just how long our delay ended up being, though I'll give you a hint, it was a lot less than 7 hours. But before we get to any of that, join me as I walk down to the Lillehammer train station, at this point blissfully unaware of the adventure I was about to embark on. Welcome to beautiful Lillehammer in Norway, which has a population of about 28,000 people and gets an intercity passenger train every hour. And we're gonna go ride one of those. If you ever wondered what it's like to ride an intercity train in Norway, you're about to find out. A reminder that at this point, I thought I was just going to ride the train normally and it was just going to be a normal video, but that did not happen.
Lillehammer has this wonderful pedestrianized square, and I'll point out that it is 4:41 p.m. on a Thursday, and look at all these people out here. This just goes to show that it can exist, and it probably should. Our train is at 5:15, which leaves us time for ice cream. Mission accomplished. Just down the hill from this glorious pedestrian promenade is the railway station. Here we are at the Lillehammer station. Nice big bus terminal. The town is up the mountain, well, hill, mountain, I don't know, side of the valley that way, over there. That's my ice cream. And yeah, it's a relatively small station, but definitely very nice, so we'll go check it out.
I want to reiterate that even with less than 30,000 people living here, they have this very nice station. Isn't that interesting?
Track 1's there. Our train is on track 3, which you access through the stairs here. There's also a hostel built into the station and a cafe, because it's Europe. We've made a discovery that this here has a water filling station. And this is great because there's no water in Europe. It's something we've learned on this trip. There's more. Okay. Now, the plot is starting to thicken. We are scheduled for RE number 10, arriving at 5:15 or 17:15 because Europe. And the train has canceled service between 2 stations. When we check in the train operator ticket app, train operator is called VY, we see that the 2 stations, I'm not even going to attempt the pronunciation, are beyond where we would be boarding, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. My guess is it'll be a bus bridge of some kind, but we're going to find out. I want to take a moment to appreciate the app that VY has. Amtrak has an app too, and it doesn't work very well, and I was just really impressed by how the response times were really good, and the information was easy to find, and it generally just worked. And coming from a country where things just don't work, when things do work, it's like magic. Anyway, at this point, we decided to just walk over to the platform and wait for our train out there. It is unseasonably hot today here in Lillehammer, and that has resulted in some track problems. I heard on the announcements that track buckled somewhere down the line. Now, you of course cannot run trains on buckled track, so I don't know how we're gonna get back to Oslo, but there is presumably a way, so we'll find out. Looks like there's a historic station building under some form of restoration. Too bad that we can't look at it, but it's good that it's being restored, so I guess all the more reason to come back someday. I was saying all that stuff about how good the app is earlier. It's not immune to problems. The area here for issues and alerts, I think, is really great, but certain sections sometimes are glitchy. Like, if you go to show ticket, nothing happens for a little while, and then you have to wait before the ticket shows up, and then if I want to get out of here, Sometimes this is a bit slower. I've had issues with this. It's working now that I'm filming it because of course it is, but this is an area where I think there could be some improvement.
There is a change of track for the RE10 service that are scheduled at 17:15. This train will depart from track 2. We repeat, the RE10 service that are scheduled will depart from track 2.
It's good that they have the bilingual announcements. I'm a little skeptical that we are going to, in fact, depart at 5:15, even though there is no 5:13 and there is no train. But hopefully I'm wrong. It is officially 5:15. No train. So I have a feeling we're going to be late.
It may not have arrived at 5:15, but it arrived at 5:17. Not bad.
All right, the train is arriving. This is good. It's only a minute or two late, so it's really not bad. This is good.
At this point, we hadn't been explicitly told that there would be a bus bridge, but everybody else seemed to be getting on the train like normal, so we decided to as well.
Oh,
Not exactly level boarding, but far from bad. We didn't quite realize this when we were boarding, but we got into one of the quiet cars, so I'll be narrating via voiceover for most of the train ride. Given that we were originally supposed to depart at 5:15, departing at 5:22 really is not that bad. At this point, the train conductor gave announcements in both Norwegian and English explaining what was going to happen.
This train will take us up to Brumunddal, and from Brumunddal there will be bus to Hamar, where the train is ready to take you further direction Oslo and Oslo. The reason is because of the extreme heat and that the rail's inconvenience.
There will be a bus bridge. In case that wasn't clear, let's go over it again while we enjoy the scenery. Somewhere between the Brumunddal station and the Hamar station, the track buckled in extreme heat, making it unsafe for our train to pass through that area. So, the rail operator set up a bus bridge to continue service on this part of the line. If you've never heard of the concept, a bus bridge is what rail operators do when some disruption on the tracks makes it so that trains can't pass through a section of the route. Train service along the route will bring passengers to a station before the impassable section, where the passengers get off the train, board a bus, drive around the impassable section of track, get off the shuttle bus at a stop further down the train line, and board another train to travel the rest of the way. It's admittedly a bit of a hassle, but I want to put this inconvenience in context with another form of transportation inconvenience people from my country face all the time: traffic delays. Many of our car trips take significantly longer because of traffic congestion on roadways, and it's one of the primary shared experiences of residents of the United States. Democrat, Republican, young, old, or any other group that normally have nothing in common all experience traffic congestion in the USA. As you watch, especially any viewer from the USA, think about the last time you were in really bad traffic and try to recall the number of minutes you were delayed. Remember that number at the end of the video when I reveal the total delay from this bus bridge.
Next stop will be Brumunddal. This train is cancelled between Brumunddal and Hamar, and there is bus replacement from Brumunddal.
And just like that, we were getting off our train at Brumunddal. Alright, we're out of the quiet car, so we can speak now. Voiceover Andy will have explained this, so thanks Voiceover Andy, but we're getting on the bus bridge now. The only information we have is that there is a bus bridge, but I guess that's the only information you really need, so I'm gonna go experience the bus bridge now. We're gonna say goodbye now to this very comfortable Stadler flirt and say hello to
these coach buses. There's two buses, so we're gonna take the other one.
The coach bus is air conditioned. It was right in the parking lot, as you saw, so boarding was super easy. The seats pretty comfortable as far as coach bus seats go. Hopefully it's just not too slow. That's no. probably going to be the main bottleneck because we had basically no wait getting on the bus, and then we'll see what kind of a wait there is getting back on the train at the other end of the bus bridge. But, you know, obviously no one wants this. This isn't ideal, but as far as these things go, this is not terrible at all. Like, this is really not that huge of a deal. I don't see any other passengers losing their minds, or like no one has raised their voice at any point. People are very calm about this, so, you know, maybe we have something to learn from them. There goes the first bus. We should be next. So look, check out this bike. Very cool. And we are off. This looks like a nice little town area. It's amazing to me that towns of this scale can receive the level of service that they do along these corridors. It's fantastic. Look how good this bike lane is, completely separate from the road and from the sidewalk. That is just great. I was a little bit starstruck by this building because I recognized it from one of my undergrad classes. This is the second tallest engineered lumber building in the world, and it was really cool seeing it in person after learning about it in school. That looks like track work. Maybe that's what the problem is. The bus bridge was essentially a non-event. We just got on the highway and we just drove. There was no traffic, there were no bad attitudes from anyone. Everyone just quietly sat there and rode the bus, and there's basically nothing to say about it. It just happened and it worked. And that's the part of this that really blows my mind, is that it just worked. Like, I can't tell you how insane this is, coming from a country where things routinely just simply don't work for no perceptible reason. So living regular life, you feel like an insane person because nothing makes any sense. But then when you learn why things don't make any sense, you feel even more insane because the reasons are completely crazy. And now I'm just rambling. But here, it just worked. And it was amazing. And here we are at the other end of the bus bridge. We made it. Alright, we made that with basically no issues. Yeah, that was totally fine.
BYD. Oh, this place is crawling with BYDs. Oh, look at there. Old trains.
Just want to apologize for the delay. The reason why we had to go later than usual is because we had to wait for passengers coming with the bus from Brumunddal.
And from this point on, we just rode back to Oslo. We did run into a few more delays as we continued our journey back to Oslo, but it really wasn't that bad, especially looking out the window at such beautiful scenery. Norway is such a special place. I loved it. I loved it. Looking at the videos now, almost a year later, I really, really want to go back. maybe someday. It is so beautiful out here. It's just amazing. We passed a couple of interesting sites, like this area that looked to be new track under construction, and then this bridge here just crossing this bay, which I think is also part of a rail bypass. They're working on a project in Norway to speed up this main line, and it's amazing to see that this country actually cares about intercity passenger rail and making it faster and improving things for its people.
This is amazing. Look at this. On the screen, they tell you what the issue is, and they tell you why it's happening, and they tell you what to expect, and they have it in multiple languages, all displayed digitally on the screen. This is just blowing my American transit enjoyer mind.
And in just another 20 minutes or so, we were arriving in Oslo.
Neste stasjon Oslo sentralstasjon. The next station is Oslo Central Station.
So many people use this train, and it's amazing. So it's 7:38. The train was supposed to arrive at 7:26.
And that makes it only 12 minutes late with a bus bridge. That is insane. That's just unbelievable. I think that when something goes wrong is when you really get to know a system, and track buckling is certainly something going wrong. VY's ability to get everybody through that problem was just astounding to me. To have the delay be only 12 minutes when you have to get everybody off the train onto buses, those buses onto highways, those buses back off the highways into another train station, all the people back onto a train, and to have that amount to only a 12-minute delay to the total trip length is astounding. This is very, very good. I mean, I could see some people complaining that it was a 12-minute wait, and I would invite those people to join me on Amtrak at some point. So, I mean, this is amazing. You know, obviously this didn't go as planned, but this, I feel just amazed by this system. I think their work is great. All respects and all hats off to VY for how they handled the situation. This was fantastic as far as delays go. So it's probably the happiest I've ever been after a train delay. But thank you for tuning in. If you want to see me smile about train delays, you can watch more videos. Thanks for watching.